Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaraya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances under the Lord's feet and my divine spiritual masters, Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who, on the order of his spiritual master, came and saved me and gave the order to go out and save others, and therefore we're making this humble attempt to serve him and follow in his footsteps. So we've been given a great gift, and 500 years ago, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, appeared in this world and taught everyone to chant Hare Krishna, and he also said, teach others. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda opened a marketplace. Everyone's marketing something. They were marketing the holy name of the Lord. And they wanted it to go to every town and village. They wanted this product to be enjoyed by everyone. Mahaprabhu said everyone should be able to drink this juice of devotional service. So take it to every town and village. And following in his footsteps, and that's what the great acharyas do. They pick up the order of the Lord and they execute it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur expanded that marketplace. He conceived of a marketplace. He renewed the process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given to his followers that had been somewhat obscured, and he brought it to light in the place Surabhi Kunj, and he wrote about this marketplace of the holy name. Yes? Oh, no slides? Well, why didn't you tell me? Okay. So, why aren't they? It's no problem. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'm going to show you all a few slides because you missed them all. You can always speak up. Okay. Shraddha, come show me something on this. I want a different view. Why is it showing me? Hare Krishna.
Yes, so while you were speaking, we were seeing here online, you were seeing one slide.
Okay, we're doing simultaneous. Why is it so tiny? Why would you No.
Gabji, we see it big over here on your screen.
Yeah, but I can't see.
Oh.
Yeah, that's easy.
Say anything? Oh, it's going. It's going way back forward. So it's going.
So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur established the marketplace of the holy name, and he predicted that a great personality would come to carry that mission forward to the rest of the world, that would unite people from the east and the west who would chant Jai Sachinandan in the streets. And practically we realized this several years ago when we all met in Mayapur, when Prabhupada was there, and was the first time coming up and down the road in front of the temple in Mayapur, Dham, devotees from every country of the world were chanting together, from Europe, from Asia, from America. It was practically a miracle, and his prediction was realized. So these kinds of predictions are coming from the internal energy, and they will come to pass. The great Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj carried this vibration, the pure vibration of the holy name forward, the chanting simply for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was his disciple, expanded that marketplace in very daring, active ways all over India and to the other countries, into Burma, into England. He sent devotees. He had a vision to spill over that movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into other countries of the world. And he very much emphasized book distribution, printing this knowledge and distributing to others. He said this is the highest kind of service. And he told Srila Prabhupada, his disciple A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, that he should, if he ever gets money, print books. So Srila Prabhupada, of course, we know, took this order to heart. And he spread this marketplace all over the world. He became the ambassador of goodwill. This is a picture of the first flyer that Prabhupada made to advertise his Srimad Bhagavatams. And it mentions on that flyer that there will be many, many volumes. At the time he only had a few volumes, and that it was knowledge that would be spread all over the world. So he had this gigantic vision, which is possible by catching the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the disciplic succession, to see that everyone gets an opportunity to take to Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada had this plan that by printing books and by distributing books and by focusing our mind on doing this, we would be able to inject this philosophy into the lives of people all over the world. And this is practically happening now on a small scale, but it needs to happen on a much, much bigger scale. Srila Prabhupada said that we should print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. So this is an order that anyone can catch on to print books. How do we involve ourselves in printing books? We join the Sankirtana movement. There is a viable way in which to follow this order. By distributing books, by collecting donations in return, giving them to the BBT who prints the books, and they have more opportunity to print more books, you're directly in the line, in the flow of this order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada said, kindly help me, this is my request. Now, the Shastra says, Shushusho Shradhana Se Vasudeva Kataruchi Syam Mahat Sevaya Viprapunya Kirtana Shevana. When you take up the order of a great soul, of a great Mahatma, then you will advance in devotional service. And Prabhupada mercifully has put out this request, so kindly help me. And there is so much help we can add to the Sankirtana movement. Any one individual who becomes determined to do this, we've seen in our own society, one person who decides that I'm going to help, to my full capacity I'm going to help this mission, as it's been asked. I've been asked to help in a certain way, and I will help in that way. One person can make a huge difference in the world. So answer this request, and you will make advancement in spiritual life. I want that all of you, all my students, shall very vigorously try for this book distribution. So very specifically, Prabhupada was into book distribution. He was into many, many programs, but book distribution was so very, very dear to his heart because it was the order he took from his spiritual master. And when he saw others helping him and fulfilling that order, he showered his mercy upon them. And many, many devotees came forward to take up this mission. We see the line coming down from Srila Prabhupada, and those who are taking up the order of Srila Prabhupada, they become empowered also. Everyone is eligible to become empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to spread Krishna consciousness widely. Everyone who simply surrenders to the order and becomes an instrument may do so. And hundreds and thousands of Srila Prabhupada's followers did this. And that's why there are so many millions of books in the world today, because they took up this order, and we will continue to do this. The importance of book distribution. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that there's no servant in this world more dear to me. Just think about that. Krishna himself, from his own lotus mouth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has said that there's no servant more dear to me than the person who preaches my message, Bhagavad Gita, to the devotees and makes it available far and wide. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jari Dako Tari Kaha Krishna Upadesh. This Amaragnai Guru Hanatare Desh. He gave this open order. And what's very important about this order, he said, instruct everybody about Krishna's teachings. You're going too fast. Thank you. And he said, just spread this to everyone. So anyone can take up the order by learning what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita and then presenting to others. And by giving someone a book, the entire Bhagavad Gita with all its purports, we leave someone with the greatest treasure and the full teachings available to that spirit soul, so that they come out of the influence of material nature. Maya Mugda Jivarnahi Swata Krishna Gyan. That's the living entity doesn't automatically come out of material nature, but when he comes in contact with the literature given by Veda Vyas, he has an opportunity to awaken through his spiritual intelligence his desire to go back home, back to Godhead. So this is very important because the direct order of the Lord is a manifestation of his internal energy, and this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. So in a very practical way, when one takes up the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he or she is immediately connected to the internal energy of the Lord. And this is the way, Srila Prabhupada states this in the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that one can come to see the Lord face to face. So this is very practical because we have senses, we have eyes, we have hands, we have a mind, we have places to go, people to meet, things to do. We must transfer all of those propensities and all of those capabilities to the process of spreading the Sankirtana movement. Then that's the perfection of the senses. Sarvopati vinirmuktam taparatena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchite. We become purified by this process of engaging all our senses by following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada gave this suggestion also, that simply by this attempt, you may think it sounds very difficult, I don't know what to do. Nobody does. You're not alone. Nobody knows how to do this. In fact, the early book distributors didn't know anything about book distribution. And they just tried because they took the order. They said, here's an order, if I take it, I'll become purified. And Prabhupada gave this encouragement, simply by this attempt, you'll get superior strength and knowledge about Krishna consciousness. And therefore, anyone who just tries to do this will become advanced. It's high sadhana to take this burden upon yourself, to go outside your comfort zone, to give up all other kinds of considerations to spread Krishna consciousness. So we say that this is the rapid way to make spiritual advancement. Take these books out and make them available, make them visible. Learn how to do this. It's a simple thing to go out and meet others and show them how to read a book. And it's fun and easy. So we have 4 laws of book distribution. And if you follow these laws of book distribution, then you will not go to jail, which is a good thing. So stay out of jail and follow the 4 laws of book distribution. The first law of book distribution, your sadhana must be strong. The second law is you must get books. The third is the more you show, the more you sell. And the fourth is you must organize. So everyone please repeat these. Number 1. Your sadhana must
must be strong.
Number 2.
You must get books.
Number 3.
The more you show, the more you sell.
And number 4.
You must organize.
Correct. Now, sadhana must be strict, serious, and sincere. Srila Prabhupada used these words in many, many places. I've compiled them in one place. My godbrother Shrutadev pointed this out to me many years ago. And strict, serious, and sincere. Meditate on these 3 words, look up, see what they mean, and then see how you can make your sadhana, your daily practice of devotional service, your daily practice. Don't miss a day. Every day you should have strict, serious, and sincere sadhana. When you do that, you will get a taste, because Krishna is tasty. The holy name is tasty. The Srimad Bhagavatam is tasty. Everything else isn't tasty. The juice is all gone. It's not. There's no taste. It just appears like there's a taste, and everyone tells you the taste, but there isn't a taste. But there is a taste in the Bhagavatam, and there is a taste in the holy name. Get it. That's your duty. You have to get that taste. That's what we're distributing, because when you have a taste, you have overflow. You don't even have to have much of a taste. If you get one mustard seed of taste from chanting your japa, if you feel some sincerity when you're chanting, if you feel some humility, if you feel some natural devotional quality while you're chanting Hare Krishna, you've achieved success that day. And you'll have the capability of going out and distributing what's in your heart to other people. You'll have the enthusiasm, which means God within your heart, will inspire you to go out and give this to other people. And that's what we're doing. We're distributing the overflow of what we ourselves have. Otherwise, you'll think about doing something else, and you'll think some other activity is more important. Selling gum, or going to the whatever. There's many things to go to, but Sankirtana is the place to be. Now, the second law of book distribution is that you must get books, because it is one of the laws of thermodynamics, and if it's not, it should be. And I'd like to insist that all the scientists in the world change the textbooks, that you can't distribute books that you don't have. Please repeat. You can't distribute books that you don't have. These are the most rare treasures. Books, they're available. Get the books. Don't invest in other things. Don't become sidetracked with fixing every single thing in the universe before you buy books. Buy books first. And do all other kinds of things second. This is our mission. This is what we need to do. The mission of Srila Prabhupada was to bring books to this world. So get the books. And if we don't have storehouses worth of books in our car, in our house, in our temples, we've missed the point. And in fact, I'll say we missed the boat. Because that's what came over on the boat with Prabhupada and the Jaladuta was the books. So get books. And once you have books, then you'll start scheming about how to sell them, because they'll be in your way. We have the most beautiful books in the world. These are miracles. Every single book we have. Look around and see what's available. There's not much available in the spiritual marketplace. It's all speculation, or mostly. And these books are coming through Parampara, painstakingly presented by a pure devotee, unprecedented in the history of the world, and assisted by all his sincere disciples, following his instructions on how to make a world-class presentation. And that's just what we have. So get these books. And get them in many languages, because Prabhupada said distribute widely in as many languages as possible. Here's a picture of a Muslim mullah, and he's got a book in Farsi in his hand, and he was very pleased with that. And you know, that made my day. It maybe made my life. To hand a book, one of Srila Prabhupada's books in the Farsi language that is going back to Afghanistan. I'm not going to Afghanistan anytime soon. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Somebody gives me a ticket. But I'm not planning going to Afghanistan, but effectively I've just gone to Afghanistan. I've sent Srila Prabhupada to Afghanistan through his book. That's the power of these books. That book is sitting in some little mosque somewhere. And it will have a profound effect on the world, that one little book. Get the languages. Make them available to everybody. Now here's the one that we repeat twice whenever we see it. The more you show, the more you sell. Please say.
The more you show, the more you sell.
The more you
show, the more you show, the more you sell. And everyone's looking for Krishna. They don't even know that they're looking for Krishna, but they are. And these books are Krishna. They're incarnations of Krishna. So when you put them out and you make them available, people will see them and they'll want to come and take them. That's all you have to do. Now, there are many ways to make them available, to make them visible. Here's an innovation called the Smart Box, just a simple innovation, but there's millions of more ways to do this. I saw the devotees just recently in Tokyo. Vanchadita and Amy-san had put out dozens, just within a few weeks. They had, because they were focused on this project, they had gone out 26, 30 boxes they had put around the Tokyo area within 3 months. What if everybody did that? What if 100 people went out and put out 30 boxes in their own neighborhood? I'm just saying, what would happen? I have no idea what would happen, but it would be good, I know that much. The more you show, the more you sell. Here's our very own beloved Srivas Pandit Prabhu standing behind a book table at downtown Santa Cruz, which is a vortex for distribution. People are just waiting for the devotees to be there. Otherwise, what do they get in Santa Cruz if the book table isn't there? They get nothing. You must organize. Get out your calendar and decide when you're going to go on Sankirtana. Decide ahead of time before everyone else asks you to do something else, and they will. So you make a stand and you say, we're organizing around book distribution because this is what we've been asked to do by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what we've been asked to do by Srila Prabhupada. Put it on the calendar and tell everybody, I'm busy, I'm going on Sankirtan. This is organization. Organized. Look at this. Rakshit Jariwala Prabhu and Sonal Jariwala and their kids, they set up in their own house a revolutionary center, a center for revolution. That is, they converted their whole garage into a place to store books. That is spiritual intelligence. Organize, find ways and means to store these books. There's not just one way, there's not just the old way. Figure it out. There's all kinds of ways to do this. Invest in all the tools and infrastructure. Treat it like a real business. If you're actually, making a real business where you wanted to expand it, you get all the best things. Get everything that you need to move ahead. This is organization. And then remember how to organize and take care of everybody in the organization. Have days that you recognize all the devotees and encourage everybody, devotional appreciation days and so on. So now we're going to talk about how to sell a Bhagavad Gita on its own merit. And Srila Prabhupada said there's sufficient merit in our books that if you simply describe them sincerely to anyone, they will buy. Did you get that? If you simply describe them how? Sincerely. To anyone, what will they do? Will they buy them?
Yes.
You know they will. Okay, here's a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Remember, this is the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's more important than anything else in this world. If your house is burning down and you don't speak the local language, somehow or other you'll be able to communicate it, right?
Yes.
If you understand the value of what's in this book, you'll go out and distribute them like hotcakes, and nothing will stop you. So here are a few tips about how to distribute books. And the first is use radar. Notice who you're talking to. Every living entity has a certain kind of presence, directions, distance, and speed. And you have to look around and see your environment. Notice who's coming by you. And so you want to judge that first when you're looking at people. So whether you're door to door, or you're on the street, or anywhere else, notice who people are. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam tedvanva mohanir mukta bhajanti mam dhridavarta. Some people have some punya in their heart, or they have a lot of punya. And when you look at them, you'll see that punya. It'll come out to you. Other people, they don't have any punya yet. And people are different. You can't treat everyone exactly the same. And the Shastra says you have to learn how to distinguish between one person and another. This is the injunction, Ishvare Taradineshu, etc. I'm not going into a lot of detail because it's a quick seminar today. But the fact is, the Shastra says we must learn to discriminate between one kind of person and another. For that, we need to use radar. And did you know you have radar power in your hand? Yes or no? Say yes.
Yes.
Hold up your right hand. Now point it at somebody in the room. And now I want you to say a mantra that will release the radar. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hi! Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
There you go. Now look around the room. Do you feel the radar bouncing around? Everybody in here is full of punya, so everyone's smiling, happy, looking back at you. But when you point your radar at someone on the street, say, hi, some people are going to smile back and say, hi, good to see you, and other people are going to ignore you. And that's how you know what their distance, their presence, their direction, their speed is. You shoot your radar first. You have to judge who the person is before you just charge up to every single person and try to present them something. Find out who they are. Next, when they come closer to you, qualify them a little bit more. You can ask them a question. Are you from Palo Alto? Yes or no? Are you from Palo Alto?
No.
No and a yes. Both are qualified. If he says no, okay, you're qualified. If he says yes, you're qualified also. Qualifying questions are very important because it makes them feel qualified. They know why they're getting the book. Next is, put the book in their hand. And to do this, you must trust the hand, because the hand is an independent entity. It's dependent somewhat. It's connected to the body, but it has a mind of its own, as all the senses on the body do. And the mind might be saying, I'm not so interested, I've got to go play bingo somewhere. And you hand them the Bhagavad Gita, and the hand say, oh, okay, I'll take that. And so work with the hand. And you notice Shailesh, this is a historical, classical picture, one of our first Sankirtana outings. And you notice her hand? Do you notice the hand of the recipient there? That hand has a life of its own. It's about to grab the Bhagavad Gita. So learn to hand the book over, put it in people's hand, and trust the hand. The hand will work with you. Use a mantra. Now, you can use whatever mantra you want, but it's good to start off with one that you know in your sleep. If someone wakes you up at 1:30 in the morning and says, what is the mantra? You say, books on yoga meditation shows you how to get free from stress.
Books on yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress. Books on yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress. Books on yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress.
Close your eyes. Now say it.
Books on yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress.
Now go to sleep, and I'm going to wake you up. What's the mantra?
Books on yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress.
And yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress. So when you're handing the book over, use this mantra. It tells them what's in it for them. And when you learn a mantra, then you'll feel confident. And there are other mantras. Now, you've heard of stress before, right? It's important to ask a question. We ask them as we hand it over and tell them it's a book, shows them how to get free from stress. Yoga and meditation shows how to get free from stress. The book comes into their hand, and now I say, as the book's landing in their hand, you've heard of stress before, right? And what do they say?
Yes.
They say yes. Okay, sometimes they say no. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's okay. Don't worry. It's foolproof. They say yes. And then whatever they say, if they say yes, of course I've heard of stress before. Yes, I'm very stressed. Really? You don't look stressed at all. If they say, no, I'm not stressed, then this still works. He says, yeah, I know, I can tell. And then we ask, your eyes look spiritual, what's your secret? This question, what's your secret? Say it.
What's your secret?
Yeah, what's your secret? When you ask people, you hand over the book, you're bringing them closer to you, you're bringing them into confidence, you're asking them a question. What's your secret? Because everyone has a secret, all our spirit souls, and all are spiritual. Everyone we're dealing with is a spiritual person. And they all have connection with Krishna. So we should respect each person that we talk to and appreciate what their connection with Krishna is, and we should ask them what their secret is. We shouldn't condescend and just think we're coming in to teach them something, to preach to them something. Ask them, what is your secret? And they'll tell you what their secret is. What do they say? Well, I do yoga. Well, I believe in God. Well, I believe that all people are good. Well, I drink beer. Whatever it is, it's their expression of their faith coming through the modes of material nature in various ways. And we appreciate their secret. And then we show them the book. Now, before I go into showing the book, which is a really easy part called show and tell, I'm just telling you there are other options of what you can say. Here's one we took right from Srila Prabhupada's purport. This book shows how to stay healthy and strong in mind and intelligence so one can distinguish the goal of life from a life full of problems. Please repeat.
This book shows how to stay healthy and strong in mind and intelligence so one can distinguish the goal of life from a life full of problems.
Have you noticed any problems in the world lately?
Yes.
Have you? Nah, nothing. It's fine. Everything's great. Option 2. This is about a guy who hated his job and he was so stressed out he wanted to quit. After hearing this book, he became peaceful, he loved his job, and did it with even greater skill than before. What changed? He didn't change his job, he didn't change his clothes, he changed his heart. Read this book. It will bring you new insight and energy. And I just heard one yesterday. A devotee was selling nectar devotion door to door, and it was in a very rich neighborhood. And the man opened the door and said, I'm not interested. And the devotee said, this is about a multi-millionaire who quit his job to live underneath a tree and to think how he could do the best for all people in the world. Wouldn't you want to know why he did that? And the guy said, yeah, actually I would. He bought the nectar of devotion from him. About a guy, a multi-millionaire, who quit his job to live underneath a tree. So that's what catches people's attention. Be innovative and present these things that they can find out how to relate in their frame of reference. Do you know anybody who dislikes their job? Anyone? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay, now we're talking. Take the book back. So that's it. We've handed the book over, we put it in their hand, we've told them a nutshell presentation. Books about yoga meditation shows you how to get free from stress. The book's in their hand. You've heard of stress before, right? They say, yeah, I'm really stressed. And you say, but your eyes look so spiritual. What's your secret? And then they tell you the secret, and that's when you take the book back and say, great, let me show you. Because you're relating to them a continuation of what they've just told you about their secret. It's a communion. You're communing with them, not condescending. Show and tell. Now this is really easy. When you take the book out, you just show and tell. And here's some of the things that you show and tell on the book. Everything that you need to show or tell is in or on the book. Just like a flip book that you get at a sales company. All you have to do is follow the presentation. You just go through the flip book, and at the end, they buy the hammer. They buy the drill, whatever it is. It's because it's the best drill there is. So everything you need is on the book to sell the book. Here's the first part. On the back of the book, there are a listing of names of people who've read the Bhagavad Gita. This creates a sense of value. You can name Thoreau, Emerson, Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King, Einstein. They're all people who read and appreciated the Bhagavad Gita. And let me also mention one that's not on the list here, the Beatles. Everyone say the Beatles.
The Beatles.
See, that's a mantra in and of itself. The Beatles, I think that's an eternal mantra. But for selling Bhagavad Gita, because George Harrison had this connection and it's related to the Beatles, they read this book too. Everyone everywhere in every generation has heard of the Beatles. Endorsements. You turn to the first page inside the book and it mentions that University of Southern California, Georgetown University, there are professors who have reviewed the book and they've put their words inside talking about the importance of the writing that's inside. This builds credibility in the book. Show them these universities. Show them what?
The universities.
Correct. Next, you turn to this changing bodies. Changing bodies is a profound view of what we're all going through, but everyone forgets and just thinks that I'm going to live here forever. But if you show them this and you say, we begin here, and you point to the baby body, and we end here, and you point to the skeleton, we're all just passing through. Just please repeat, say, see, we're all just passing through.
See, we are all just passing through.
We start here.
We start here.
We end here.
We end here.
We're all just passing through.
We are all just passing
Okay,
through.
put your hand up like this. We start here.
We start here.
We end here.
We end here.
We're all just passing through.
We're all just passing through.
Now you ask them another question because the question's a hook. It keeps their attention. It leads the conversation. You say, where are you in all this? Now the fun begins because you show them the picture and hold the book out so that they can see it. Please give me Bhagavad Gita. You hold the book out so they can see it. and you're showing them the picture inside the book, like this. And you say, where are you in all this? And then they'll look in there and they'll have a revelation, you know, they'll realize that they're actually on this continuum somewhere. And they'll say, oh, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And then there are several other pictures you can show. I don't have them on the slides right now, but I'll just mention the next page is related to the verse Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmaniga Vihastini Shunichaiva Shapakecha Pundita Samadarshana. That a learned person is one who sees everyone equal on a spiritual level. And I always point out to people when I show this picture, I say, look, this is a self-realized person. He or she treats everyone with respect because he or she sees God's in everyone's heart. And people can relate to that. I was in New York after 9/11, and I was preaching such things because people were very worried about religion. They actually at the same time wanted to know more about God because they could see their world unraveling. And when I showed them this picture and explained that this a really advanced person in spiritual life treats everyone with respect, they liked it very much. And people always like it. It's a non-sectarian message, and that's what we have to offer. Next one, you've heard of karma before, right? Have you all?
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
Goes around.
I got one thing to say to you. Whoa! That's a really good explanation. Let's try it again. You've heard of karma before, right?
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
What goes around.
Whoa! That's a really good explanation. Now I'm going to try it. You're going to ask me what karma means, and I'm going to tell you, and then you're going to try this. Now you have to wind up and really do this thing. Whoa! That's a really good explanation. Okay, go ahead and ask me now.
What does it mean to you?
I don't know, you know, like stuff happens and things go on and things like that. Very good. So wind up, get ready for it when you ask them the question and really lean into it because you can appreciate that they have knowledge about karma because this is a foundational part of spiritual life. So really appreciate them at that point. And you'll see there's a burst of energy going into the next part of the presentation, which is you show them the picture about karma. You see this picture with the man with a cow's head, cow with a man's head? You can show them that picture and say, here, look, this shows generosity breeds generosity and violence breeds violence. Everyone can appreciate that. Now you're ready for a little humor. Are you all ready for some humor?
Yes.
Okay. So here, what do you do professionally? What do you all do professionally? You're a civil engineer? Who's a civil engineer in here? Ramananda Saka is a civil engineer. They say, I'm a Sunday school teacher. Who's a Sunday school teacher? Kameshwari is a Sunday school teacher. Okay. They say, I'm a dancer. Who's a dancer in here? Hansapriya. Okay. So, you say, really, this guy used to be a civil engineer. Really, this guy used to be a Sunday school teacher. Really, this guy used to be a dancer. So find out, ask him specifically, what do you do professionally? And they say, I'm an engineer. What kind of engineer? Civil engineer. Really, this guy used to be a civil engineer. Now, 50% of the people will laugh out loud, and the other 50% will say, really? And then you say, no, not really. And that's when we hand the book back. Now remember, first we hand it to them with a nutshell verse. We ask them what their secret is. Then we take the book back and we do show and tell. We show the back of the book that shows Thoreau, Emerson, Gandhi, and the Beatles. And then we move to the first page and we show them the universities. I usually use University of Southern California, Georgetown University. They're very well known. Then we show them the pictures. I'm showing them the pictures. I'm holding the book, remember? And I'm showing them changing bodies. I can show them a few other pictures. And then I ask them about karma. They say they've heard of it. I show an example. I ask them what do they do professionally. They say I'm a dancer. And they say, really, this guy used to be a dancer. And then they laugh. And now I'm handing the book back. I put the book back in their hand. And then I say we don't sell these like in a bookstore, but if we did, how much do you think it would be? How much do you all think it would be? $20? That's pretty close. What other figure do you think it might be? $100? That's pretty close. All right. Whatever they say, it's pretty close. And then I said, but we don't sell it, so if you give a donation, you can take it with you. And it costs blank to print. So these cost about $8 with shipping and handling after we get them from the BBT, and Raksha Jariwala factors in the mortgage on his house and all these kinds of things. It costs about...
That would make it much more.
After all, we have a PhD taking care of the book. So. That's why I said it's pretty close when you said $100. Okay, it costs about $8 to print. I give them something through their mind to fix on, because when you ask people for donation, they don't know how much to give. A lot of times they'll say, they won't even tell you. They'll just say, I don't want to give, because they don't know how much. But you'll be surprised, 75% of the time, if you say, they cost us $8 to print, anything you give over that is a donation. It releases them. They know exactly what to shoot for, and then they have a specific figure. So please repeat after me. It costs about $8 to print.
It costs about $8 to print.
Anything you give over that is a donation.
Anything you give over that is a donation.
Now, sometimes they need a little encouragement. Sometimes people go right away and they want to give a donation. So I explain to them something very reasonable, and that is the reason we ask. When you give in return for spiritual knowledge, you get sukriti, good fortune. The sukriti gives you the power to read and understand the book. Please repeat. The reason we ask.
The reason we ask.
When you give in return for spiritual knowledge.
When you give in return for spiritual knowledge.
You get sukriti, good fortune.
You get sukriti, good fortune.
Sukriti gives you the power to read and understand the book.
Sukriti gives you the power to read and understand the book.
The reason we're doing this, why are we doing this? Why are we out doing what we're doing? To spread love from God. To help people who are suffering from ignorance all over the world, to spread peace and unity throughout the world. These are some things you can take on board. All this information is available online. You'll be able to download it and have it available to you. And here is what Prabhupada's purpose of forming ISKCON, one of the 7 purposes. And when I was in New York City one day, I took this on a card. And each person that I would show a book to and I'd ask for a donation, I say, here's why we're asking for a donation. And I'd show them the card and I'd read it to them and I'd say, to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. They could see the card as I was reading it. We'd read it together practically, and I say, that's why we ask for a donation. And do you know, about 95% of the people said, yes, I would like to give for that cause. Isn't that a good cause?
Yes.
You know it is. Maha Mantra, that's the next thing. You must teach everyone the Maha Mantra. So after you've completed the transaction, and that is they give a donation for the book, then you say, do you believe in the power of prayer? Please say that.
Do you believe in the power of prayer?
Why, yes, I do believe in the power of prayer. If they say, I don't believe in the power of prayer, which is about 1 out of 10 Americans. If you're in France, it'll be about 7 out of 10. But in America, it's only 1 out of 10 people say, I don't believe in the power of prayer. And for them, we say, great, perfect, I'll give you a mantra instead. And so we give them a mantra. And then we say, let me teach you. So you have to be a little direct. You say, you believe in the power of prayer? And they say, yes. And you say, great, I'm going to teach you. It's not like, don't be ambiguous. Just tell them, now I'm going to teach you. Are you ready? So I say that. Now I'm going to teach you the mantra. Are you ready? Are you all ready?
Yes.
And you go right into it before their mind has the opportunity to say, well, wait, what's going to happen? Am I being initiated here? Or what's going to happen? So you say, okay, now I'm going to teach you a mantra. Are you ready? And they say, yes, I'm ready. And then you say, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Do this everywhere you go. Teach people this mantra because it's good for you, it's good for them. When you see people chanting for the first time, you're going to feel a kind of ecstasy you never experienced before. And they get the greatest benefit of their life from learning this mantra. So give them the opportunity. Teach the mantra. Next is you give them prasadam. Don't leave home without prasadam. It's a big mistake. What's a big mistake? It's a mistake to leave home without prasadam. Take prasadam with you. Give it to your nail stylist. Give it to your banker. Give it to your... Who else? Barber. Give it to your... Doctor. Give it to your... Gardener. Give it to your boss. Lots of prasadam for your boss. Give it to your colleagues. Dry cleaner. Customers. Taxi driver. Cashier. Neighbors. Pets. Dogs, cats, everyone likes prasadam. Give prasadam. Please give prasadam. Everyone give prasadam. Why not give prasadam? Please take prasadam with you. Take prasadam everywhere you go. Get prasadam. Give prasadam. It is the most important thing. Even without their knowledge, they make it an advancement in devotional service. This is the key to spreading the Krishna conscious movement. Prasadam distribution. Take stacks of prasadam with you. Must have prasadam. And then get their contact information, because book distribution is what we call the first contact. What is it? First contact. There's many more to come. We want to bring people to the second contact and the third contact. We want them to go back home, back to Godhead. That's a tall order, but that's the order we've been given, to bring people back home, back to Godhead. So our prime directive, and this is going to make your life easy. Our prime directive is to leave everyone with a good impression. So now I'm going to give you a quiz. Our prime directive is to sell many books. No. True or false?
False.
Our prime directive is to enforce the 4 regulative principles.
No.
Wherever we go. True or false?
False.
Our prime directive is to block the sidewalk and make sure that people come and see the books.
False.
Our prime directive is to follow people down the street until they submit to our will. False. False, all false. Our prime directive actually is to leave everyone with a good impression.
True.
That is true. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a hand. When you go out with this directive, this prime directive, is to leave everyone with a good impression. You don't have any pressure on yourself, and actually it's fun. To leave people with a good impression is the most pleasant activity. Go out and find people who are open to what you have to say and present to them in a palatable way that they can appreciate. And don't worry about anything else. If you leave people with a good impression, and that's your endeavor, then you should you'll feel no static at all throughout the day. You'll feel very happy. Thank people for taking their valuable time. At the very end, take time for people. Make eye contact. Really appreciate them. Whether they took a book or they didn't take a book, because our prime directive is... So if you leave everyone with a good impression, whether they took a book or they didn't take a book, whatever they did, whether they were nasty to you, leave them with a good impression, right? Then you've done your job. That's what we want to do. Leave everyone with a good impression. So here are a few tips about selling sets of books, and I'm going to go through this quickly. And the first is that you must get sets. There are sets available from the BBT. Get sets of books. If you have the sets, then you'll start thinking about doing them. Next is, make them visible. If you have sets and you keep them in the basement, locked up, how many will you sell?
None.
No. 0. But if you bring them out and you make them visible, how many will you sell?
Many.
No telling. No telling. Anything can happen. Now make a presentation. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's incarnation in Kali Yuga. Is that a fact?
Yes.
That's a provable fact. The Bhagavatam is Goloka Vrindavan, the most auspicious planet. Is that provable?
Yes.
It is. Srila Prabhupada's instrument to launch the Transcendental Revolution. Is that a fact?
Yes.
Yes, it is. And is it our very means of conquest?
Yes.
Easy to present the facts about the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, there's also the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the most rare esoteric nectarian literature, which is appreciated by Paramahamsas. And we want to make this book available to the world in mass quantity. Yes?
Like in
But
Bhagavad
use the
Gita,
microphone.
in one of the sessions, can we do a walkthrough of how to do sets distribution like we do Bhagavad Gita? Because I think we have a very good skill on how to sell Bhagavad Gita on its own merit. Same is the case with small books. But we'd like to learn something more on how to do Bhagavatam sets on its own merit. Like what you said.
The same thing. It's the same as selling a Bhagavad Gita. You just bring the set with you. That's all you do. The only difference is you bring the set along and have faith that when you present it, some people are going to take it. That's all there is. And so you open the door and you just say, here's a full set. Kurna?
But if you say to them, we don't sell them in stores, it's just a donation, Sukriti, and if they say, okay, I'll give you $10 for the set, what happens?
Well, that's a little different. With the sets, we tell them that it costs $120 for the small set, or $200 for the big set. Just tell them the price. That's the only difference. Okay? No problem. Everyone understands there's a price on the set. And they're happy to know what the price is, and they're happy to give it. So bring the sets with them and show them. On one of the door-to-door excursions we went on, there's a little ledge outside each one of the apartment buildings, and we just start setting the books up. So when they open the door, there's the set of books sitting on the ledge, and you say, here, look at this. Because what's our job? The more you show, the more you sell, right? And if you bring them out and you show them, and then Shraddha Devi Dasi sold 10 sets. I know one of her secrets, and I'm going to reveal it here. She actually gets on her knees and begs people to take the set. She sees an opening and they're thinking about it. She gets on her knees and says, please, take the set. Is that what you say? And they see somebody on their porch begging them on their knees. So it really depends on your eagerness. They see something in you, and then they see this set of books, and they'll see value. And there are a number of people that will take sets. So the same thing with Chaitanya Charitamrita. Get the sets, make them visible. There's a presentation about the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's the highest spiritual knowledge. These are pastimes and teachings of Krishna's most merciful avatar. It practically clarifies the path of Bhakti Yoga. We also give people for sets a special deal. They're normally $400. We give it to them for $250 or $300, and we can also offer them an installation. That means when we bring the books by, we'll install them in their house with a little ceremony, and that's something that many, many people like. Oftentimes we also throw in a free subscription to the Back to Godhead magazine. So here are a few tips. They say, I already know about this. We say, that's great, I can tell by looking at you. They say, I'm a Christian, Muslim, Hindu, atheist, agnostic, free thinker, anarchist, whatever it is. We say, oh great, then I'll show you this one. So I hand Pooja a Bhagavad Gita, and she says, oh, I'm an anarchist. I take the book back, and then I hand her a different one and say, oh, okay, here's for anarchists. Oh great, I'll show you this one. No resistance at all, just keep going. Are you selling this? We refuse to sell it, it's too valuable. We take a donation, they cost about $8 to print. Anything you give over that is a donation. How much should I donate? Try to keep it under $100, but in your case, we're thinking about making an exception. Go out and pick the right fruits. Right fruits are obvious. They're easy to spot on the tree. They look juicy and palatable. And that's what you should look for. Look for the opening. Look for the right fruits. And pick the right fruits. You don't have to pick the fruits that aren't ripe yet. That's not your job. What's not your job? Yeah, you don't have to break the branch. You don't have to go home and ripen it or anything like that. Just find the fruits that are ripe. They get cooked in the sun, and Krishna's cooking everyone. Here's ripe. So you see the fellow with the blonde hair? He's talking to the devotee. Do you notice his demeanor? If you were using your radar and you saw that face and that smile, him smiling back, what would you discern? You would discern, here's a ripe fruit. Here's somebody who's open, right? Yes. And I'm going to show you an unripe fruit. You see the man on the right? He stood there for half an hour telling that poor devotee about how he was going to hell and he didn't have it right and so on and so forth. If you tried to distribute a book to him, you're going to be pulling out on a branch rather than at the right fruit. So here, I'll show you again. Here's ripe. You got it? Here's unripe. Unripe, ripe. Unripe, ripe. Okay? Pick the right fruit. Take very good care of these books. When you do sets of books, if you take them out of the box, put them back as if you were putting the deities back in the box. If you're keeping books in your car, in your house, keep them nicely. Figure out how to keep them dry, how to take care of them. Don't toss them in a bag and just throw them in a corner somewhere. But take very good care of these books because they are deities. And this is part of our worship, is worshiping these Shastra deities. So this is part of our worship process, to take very good care of books. We have a mood that we're Krishna's instruments. I'm not going to go into all the details right now, but there's a mood about treating people with respect, offering kind words, and leaving everyone with a good impression. Preaching means giving. We're going out to give, not to take. Don't be condescending. Be kind and make people feel special. Because we are in the service business. What business are we in?
Service business.
And our motto is always better service. Krishna is also looking always for an opportunity to serve his devotees. When the four Kumaras met him in Vaikuntha and they were glorifying him, he said, the only reason that the dust from my lotus feet has any effect is because I worship the feet of my devotees. I serve my devotees. I'm always looking how to serve my devotees, and therefore I have some potency. That's what Lord Narayan says. So when we're serving Krishna's devotees and we're serving Krishna's parts and parcels, we should see when we go out, these people are parts and parcels of Krishna, and therefore we should take really good care of them. That's very pleasing to Krishna. And we have a glitch here. There. Resources. If you go to fanthespark.com or vaisheshikadas.com, you see the URL at the bottom. There's a link there called Book Distribution. And on that book distribution link, you'll find a number of... I have no cursor. So you'll find a number of resources about book distribution, including an at-a-glance card that you can carry with you that tells you all of these Sankirtan lines that you can take with you everywhere. Lectures about how to sell full sets of books. We have live examples. For instance, I gave a talk in Washington, D.C. in Potomac, and right after the lecture we sold 46 sets of books, I believe. And I don't know what I said, but it must have worked. So you can listen to it also and get an idea of how to present full sets of books. Invitation to join this Tips for Spiritual Life at this URL that's presented here on the screen. And you'll get twice a week spiritual message. And everyone please say, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And now we're going to stand up, please. Move all the whatever books are still out carefully, efficiently, and with respect. Put them back into the bookcase. We've got to do this within 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go. 30 seconds. Everyone stand up, make 2 lines facing each other. Move the camera so that everyone online can see. And we're going to do a practical demonstration of how to sell a Bhagavad Gita on its own merit. Okay, 2 lines. Rakshit, where you were. You start the line there. And then face him. Everyone face off with a partner. Quick, quick, quick. 30 seconds. This is an aptitude test. How fast can you form 2 lines? Okay. You can form here. Okay, you work in triad. Or Puja, you come over here. No, you're two. Everyone, make sure you're matched up. Okay, pass out these Gitas. Quick.
This rotates this one.
Here, pass these down.
No, just rotate.
Everyone on this side, just on one side.
The stick. On the left side, the stick.
One side only
It's fine.
gets a Gita. Okay.
Could you mind, could you turn on lights?
You look good.
Matas, you have it?
Okay. Everyone on this side, are you ready?
Yes.
You all ready over here? Okay, everyone have a partner? If not, you can share a partner. Okay. Okay, so now, the first step is that you're going to use your radar, and that means on this side, you're going to hold up your hand, and you're going to point it right at the person, and you're going to say, hi. Hi! Now, when you do that, you're going to notice people. You want to watch and see how people react to you when you're out in book distribution. It's an act of consciousness. So here's one mistake that I want to point out to you.
I think I would, yeah.
And that is that if you walk up to people who are moving down, say, a street very quickly, and you just rush up to them and thrust the book at them, or walk along with them and say, take this book, take this book. This is it's a little bit of an aggressive move because people don't know who you are. They don't know why you're following them. That's what they expect a salesperson is going to do, is just follow them and try to badger them into taking something. So it's better to make some kind of a conscious contact with people before you approach them. And you can do that through your eyes. People know you're there. Living entities are sensitive. That's why they're called sentient. Every living entity is sentient. So when you make eye contact with people and you say hi, like this, you'll get a reading back from them, and they'll smile, or they'll notice you, or they won't. And that gives you a cue. If they don't notice you, if they purposely ignore you, don't chase them. You don't have to chase them, that's not your duty. But if they look at you, then you can continue from there. So do it one more time, hold up your hand and say hi. Hi! Okay, you made conscious contact, right, with people. That's your first move. And then the next one is to qualify, and that is, you can ask them a simple question. Are you from Santa Cruz?
Are you from
No. Okay.
Santa Clara.
Now, what does that do?
Santa Clara
When
County.
you ask them a question, are you from such and such a place? They say yes or no. Whatever the answer is qualifies them. They think, okay, great, you're qualified. Now, if they don't know why you're handing the book over, their mind will assume so many things. But if you ask them, are you from Santa Cruz? And they say yes. Or if you say, are you from Santa Cruz or out of town? They'll say, I'm from out of town. Great, I'll show you and you're qualified. Okay, so that's all you have to do for the first part, and that is to qualify someone. Now, the next part is to hand the book over and use a nutshell verse. So as you're handing the book over, you're trusting the hand, and you say, books on yoga and meditation shows you how to get free from stress. Now, everyone watch me because it's a timing thing. Books on yoga and meditation shows you how to get free from stress. You see how during the arc that the book is taking to end up in the hand and saying the mantra. Books on yoga and meditation shows you how to get free from stress. Boom. Books on
Yoga meditations that shows you how to get free from stress.
Okay, do it again. Do it 3 times.
books of yoga?
On yoga meditation that shows you how to get free
Okay,
from
keep the
stress.
book, leave it over with your partner. Now the next thing is, ask them a question, and that is, you've heard of stress before, right?
You heard of stress?
They've heard of stress. Believe me. Okay. Now then you say, your eyes look spiritual. It's very important because you're making a communion with people. You're communing with the soul, because the eyes radiate the consciousness of the soul. And you'll notice this all day long when you're talking to people. Say, your eyes look spiritual, what's your secret? They'll tell you some kind of secret. And if they don't have a secret for you, then you can tell them one. Like they'll say, I don't know what my secret is. So you must just come from a good family. Says, you know, I don't come from a good family. You must just be a natural then. All right, I'm a natural. Whatever it is, bring out some important quality in them, okay? Okay, now the next thing is, you've handed the book over, you've given them a nutshell, you've asked them what their secret is, and now you're going to take the book back, and this is the easy part, it's show and tell. So now take the book back.
Let me show you.
Now, the show and tell. On the back cover, we have Thoreau, Emerson, Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Albert Einstein, and the Beatles. They're not all in there, but you can mention their names. Show them that. Just show them that.
So this book has been read and appreciated by people such as Henry Thoreau, Ralph Emerson, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King, eminent personalities.
Turn to the front page.
And it has been taught at several different universities. For example, University of Southern California, also
Name a couple. University of Southern California,
University of Chicago, Institute of Political Studies in Paris, international places
If you can hear me, raise your
where
hand.
this book has been taught.
You can hear me, raise your hand. Okay, next part is open to the pictures. And you want to practice this a few times because you don't want to waste a few seconds and not know where the picture is. Be oriented before you go out. Turn to the changing bodies exhibit. Turn to the changing bodies. Now you're holding it so they can see it. And you say, look, we start here, point to these on. We end up here, showing the guy dying. We're just passing through. And then ask him, where are you in all this? All right, now do it yourself. Do that whole thing. You got it?
Yes.
Okay, if you can hear me, raise your hand. If you can hear me, raise your hand. You can hear me, raise your hand. All right. Next thing is, you're going to say, you've heard of karma before, right? And they say, what? They say, yeah, I've heard of karma. And then you say, what does it mean to you? Okay, just listen for a second.
Wow.
Okay, hold on. If you hear me, raise your hand. All right, now just listen, and then you'll do the whole thing. That you've heard of karma before, right? And then the other person will say yes, and you say, what does it mean to you? And then they'll say something. And as soon as they tell you, I want you to wind up and go, whoa. That's a really good way to do it. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, if you can hear me, raise your hand. If you can hear me, raise your hand. Okay, now you come to the humor part, and you say, what do you do professionally? And as soon, wait, don't do it yet, just listen to the whole thing, and then you can do the whole set. What do you do professionally? And then they'll tell you certain jobs. Try to find out as specifically as possible. Say, if I'm a teacher, what kind of teacher? I teach economics. Okay, then you take that information, turn to the page with the yogi, and then you say, really, this guy used to be an economics teacher. Okay, are you ready? Yes. Okay, go. Ask them what they do professionally. Okay. Can hear me, raise your hand. All right, now comes the donation. As soon as they're laughing, they laugh, didn't they? It's funny, right? Okay. As soon as they laugh, you put the book back in their hand, and when you put the book back in your hand, say, we don't sell these like in a bookstore, but if we did, how much do you think it would be? Repeat that. We don't sell. Okay, now they're going to say, I don't know. And then you're going to say, yeah, you do. Just give a guess. You bought a book before. Just give a guess. And they'll say $15. And you say, oh, that's pretty close. Okay? And then you say, but we don't sell it. So if you give a donation, you can take it with you. We don't sell it. So if you give a donation, you can take it with you. And then you say that costs us about $8 to print. Anything you give over that is a donation. Okay? Now, we tell them that the reason we ask for a donation, because when you give something in return for spiritual knowledge, it completes a circle. A spiritual circle, and it gives you the power to read and understand the book. You got all that?
Yes.
Okay, now just pretend they just laughed and now you're handing the book back and you're asking for the donation. Okay, you ready? Practice it. Mark, get set, go. Okay, now they gave you a donation, and now you're going to teach them the Maha Mantra. So, say, you believe in the power of prayer? And they say, yes. They say, okay, I'm going to teach you this prayer. It wakes up love for God in your heart.
Wakes up love for God.
Yes, Molly? If you can hear me, raise your hand. If you can hear me, raise your hand. If they say, I don't believe in the power of prayer, they say, perfect. I'll give you a mantra. Okay? I say, now repeat after me. Now, you hand them the card and you say, repeat after me, and you say, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Now what do?
Prashad. Thank you.
Prashadam. Give them prashadam. Everyone gets prashadam. After they chant the Maha Mantra, give them prashadam. And then get their contact information. You should have a pen, paper. You should write down their number, and so you can stay in touch with them. And what's our prime directive? Exactly. Okay, now switch sides. We're going the other way. Well, you don't have to change sides, just switch the books. All right. Okay, now you're going the other way. So whoever was the receiver last time is now the presenter. And I want you to take it through from the beginning all the way through to the end. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, and if you forget where you are, then your partner should prompt you. Don't tell them exactly what to say, just prompt them. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you about 3.5 minutes to complete the whole course. And don't get into a bunch of scenarios. You don't have to, say like, no, I never heard of karma before. Just go along with them for the sake of the practice. We're not looking for innovation. We're looking for repetition. Are you ready? Yes. Go.
I do some jogging. I have maintained my body.
I've only heard about it by heart. Books, please.
When you show the book, hold it like this and look over the book. Do it for them. Sometimes we hold it like this when we're showing, but hold it as clearly as you can for them to see, and you can look over the book and point like this. And now you're all deputized. These are just some ideas. You need some template to use. And now you have a template. The information is available online. You can download it from the website by Sheshika Das, DASA.com. And there are all kinds of templates on there that you can take with you. And now there will be a million different things that will happen to you that you didn't expect. The scenario that you practice in here is one-dimensional, but when you go out in public, everything that can happen will happen. People will say it in a different way. They'll object to this one, or they'll agree with the one you weren't expecting. So as you use the template, be flexible and learn how to cut to the chase if you have to. You don't have to go through the whole presentation. They'll say, fine, I'll take it. And say, no, let me tell you. And don't worry if somebody is not interested. They take the book in their hand and they give it back or whatever. That's natural. That's fine. It's just a natural course of activities. 1 out of 10 is fine. 1 out of 100 is fine. Don't worry. We're not so interested in the result. We're not looking for this big performance. It's just a way of transmitting knowledge. If someone can take a Bhagavad Gita into their home, into their house, into their life, you've done the greatest service that you possibly can for another human being. And you will get better as you practice this. You'll see many different scenarios. I encourage you to look at all kinds of other distributors. Watch as you see your colleagues go out and see what they do, innovate. Learn from other teachers. When you get a chance to see someone who's experienced in book distribution, follow them around and watch them. You'll gain confidence, and after a while, it's like learning to ride a bicycle. You'll soon, have the pattern down and you'll have the confidence. That doesn't mean that every time you'll be successful, but you'll have a strong confidence. But every time you go out, you'll still have to depend on Krishna, and you'll feel that Krishna, please show me what to do over and over again. That's one of the reasons this is such a good service. It takes you outside your comfort zone constantly, and when you feel comfortable being outside your comfort zone, then you're living a good spiritual life. That's the most comfort that you can have, is to feel comfortable outside your material comfort zone. And Sankirtana always does that. So we thank everyone who joined us today for this Sankirtan orientation seminar, SOS. It's the first of the ISV Sankirtana Academy presentations, which will be going on at least monthly here at ISV. Will be broadcast around the world and taped, and you can also get the presentation later and pass it on to your friends. We want everyone to learn the art of book distribution, to propagate it. We're working in this country, in this continent, at about 1% of our capacity. $1 million to the BBT is nothing. Give more money to the BBT, sell more books, and buy more books and make them available to the world. This is our mission. So take the mission and you will be fulfilled in your life, and you'll feel completely happy by taking up the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as it's been passed down to us through the disciplic succession. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpaturvascha kripasnidevcha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada's books ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Go Premanande Haribo. Thank you very much.